Welcome to part 10 of my tarot deck collection. And I think we're actually going to finish it today. And then I can move on to my oracle decks and those other decks that don't quite fit in any category. My name is Meredith. I'm a certified practicing hypnotist and a spiritual life coach. And this channel is all about tarot and oracles and empowering you. So first, start with Cosmo Beings. This is by Joanna Nelson. And I love this. I love all of her decks, I gotta say. I remember when she started creating it and watching very excitedly to the backs. And I still need to edge it, nice black edging. Although red could be interesting. But, these are larger cards, just like her other tarot decks. So you can see, this is pretty much your standard tarot size. So it is a good bit larger, which I like. Really nice cardstock. Shuffles beautifully. I love this magician. Her decks have so much joy and whimsy and delight. Oh, I love this devil. He is so cute. I really adore him. And, this is an art style that I wouldn't have expected to love as much as I do. Only because I guess I tend to be a little more serious with, lots of things. But maybe that's why I enjoy her decks so much. Because it reminds me to just have fun and be silly and just enjoy things. And I really appreciate that. Look at with the eye too. Oh man, this is a great deck. I really love it. And every time I get one of her decks, I think, oh, this is my favorite. But the truth is, they're all these are some of my favorite decks, 100%. I just really love them, and it's wonderful. Look at that. It's just great. Love with the rabbit. And her use of color, just that little bit of red, is really kind of brilliant. I love it. Oh, look at strength. Love strength. So this is a fabulous deck. I think it's great to use for other people. It's great to use for yourself. And I think that if maybe you're the type of person who's a little too serious sometimes and needs that kind of joyful, that what it is, it's like the energy of the Fool. It's just that and I love this added card. It's that kind of almost youthful exuberance, I think. And I absolutely love it. Love everything about it. Love this deck so much. So, this is Cosmo Beings. And Next, this is the first deck that I got by her, and it's Whispering Spirits. Now, I agonized over this because I thought, I don't need this and Monstarot. So I was trying to figure out which one I would like better. Watched a bunch of walkthroughs and finally decided on this deck. And I love this deck. And I'm going to tell you, if you are trying to kind of choose one of her decks, you can't go wrong. You know what I'm saying? There's no wrong choice. And I love this deck. I'm so happy I got it. And I'm also happy that, as you'll see in a minute, I kind of caved a little bit and got Monstarot. And I don't, for me, there isn't, I mean, it's the same art style, but there's still very different decks. And I don't know, I definitely have a place in my collection for all of them. And I do reach for different ones at different times. But they all have that kind of joyful energy. You know, if you're having a less than positive day, these are great decks to use. You know, it's pretty hard to look at this artwork and especially to, you know, really get into the cards and not be uplifted. And I just, oh, look at this. I just love them. I really, really do. I love the size. I love that bigger, because again, this is the same size as Cosmo Beings, and it's a nice big deck. I really enjoy it. It's super, they're all super easy to read. And I think they're all fabulous for anyone and everyone. It's just really delightful. So, I told you that I ended up kind of caving because actually, I started off, I decided I really wanted to get Monstarot. And I went to our site, and it was sold out. And I was so sad. But then she released this travel size. And I love it. I may, if the larger size comes back, and it may already be back, I don't know. I may end up getting a bigger size. But I'm hoping she comes out with a travel size for all of our decks, because it's so cute. Love the backs. And this makes it easier to do larger spreads, makes it easier to take along. And I gotta tell you, even though I wanted this deck, I thought, well, it's not gonna be like that big of a thing. I don't know, because I already have Whispering Spirits. I was so wrong. This is, oh man, I love this deck so much. It's such a sweet, wonderful deck. I love all the characters. I just love this deck. I'm so happy I got it. And genuinely, I don't think the decks are redundant. I definitely will reach for one over another depending on, how I'm feeling in that moment. Or love this. I love him. It's just a fabulous, sweet, wonderful deck. And again, I love the size. And if you want to see. So compared to a regular sized tarot, it's not hugely smaller, but it's significantly shorter, a little bit more narrow. But of course, compared to the original size, you know, it's a huge difference. Yeah, and I kind of just want all of them. I want all of them in the big and all of them. Love that in the smaller size. Love this. It's just a fabulous deck. It really, really is. And again, super easy to read. I love this magician. I think this is one of my favorite magicians. He's just wonderful. Yeah, and I think this is a very approachable deck, of course. And again, for a reader, but also for your querent, your client. It's just warm and delightful, and I really, really love it. I'm so happy I got it. And you know, she's coming out with an oracle soon. To go with these decks. So I'm super excited for that. And next, so this is the deck where I have a large and a small size. This is Tarot of Trees. This deck, oh, I love it so much. So, just because of the size constraints, I think I'll show you some of the larger size, but then we'll focus on maybe the smaller ones, just so you can see more. This is the 10th anniversary edition, Tarot of Trees. These cards are so yummy. Love the gilding, love these backs. See, it's hard to even get them in. I mean, they're huge. But I like that. So again, compared to standard tarot size, you can see they're significantly taller and wider. They are just so beautiful, so lovely. Really, really clever way of depicting the different cards. Fabulous use of color to create that energy and that impression of the card. So I got this first, I think. Then I got the mini. Maybe I got the mini first, because the mini's like a glossy. So maybe I did get this first. And now the cardstock's like a nice matte. These are the backs. And they're just beautiful. They're not super glossy by any means. They're just not that smooth matte. But they still pick up really well on camera. And you know, there's no glare. I love this card. This is just a wonderful, wonderful deck. It's a big, chunky deck. But, you know, and this one is significantly smaller than standard tarot size. So you see, it's a lot shorter, a little bit thinner. And I love it. And still, even despite the smaller size, you know, the artwork just really shines through. Love this. Oh man, you can just be transported, you know? It's, I love this deck. I tend to use this primarily for myself. I might use 1 or 2 cards with other people, usually not as like the full, like the main spread. But I love this for me. This is a kind of deck that just transports you. And I am here for that. Love it so much. Yeah, and I'm so surprised because I would not have thought that a tarot of trees would inspire me and transport me like this does. So I think personally this is really a testament to the quality and the brilliance of the creator, who, and I'm so bad about this, is Dana O'Driscoll. I think she's pretty local to me, which is nice. Or it might be a he. I have no idea, and I apologize if I don't know. But whomever it is, they're brilliant, and I'm really, really grateful that they exist and brought this into being. Oh man, and I know I showed this card already, but I love it so much. It's fabulous. And even as much as I don't care for 3 swords and a heart for the 3 of swords, this one, it may just be me reading in, but to me, the blood is like so thick, and it feels like sap. So that's at least a little different. Yeah, it's a great deck. It's a great deck. And even though this is large, it shuffles really easily. So just in case you're curious. Now I do have big hands. You know, I'm about 5'8" and pretty proportional. So my hands are big. But it's still really easy. So next, we have 3 versions, because I don't do things by half, you know? Now this is Jonasa Jaus's 6th edition. I have wanted her deck for a really long time. I really wanted, I think it was the 3rd edition with the daisies on the back. But it was, you know, it was available here and there, but it was crazy, crazy expensive, and I just couldn't justify it as much as I wanted it. So when this edition came out, I went a little bit overboard. So we have the jumbo, the standard, and the little. So I'm just going to quickly show you. So the little, I mean, this is little, right? I mean, I'll show you with the tarot card. I mean, it's tiny. But you can still, let me do this, maybe. You can still see the cards actually really well. You know, you can still see the details. So again, and these are super tiny, but I don't really feel like anything's lost. I don't know if this is focusing. I think it's fabulous. Now I got two of the tinies, the littles. And I think what I'm going to do, and they are pretty easy to shuffle. But what I want to do, I think, with one is kind of make tiles and put them in resin, just to really to protect them most of all. But also, I just feel like it would be cool. And that's kind of it. But, and you can see they all have different colored backs. So, let me put this one away so it doesn't get misplaced at all. And I'm just going to kind of quickly show the jumbo because they're huge. And again, just for the camera, it's not gonna really, I mean, this is what we're talking about, right? It's a little wider, but a lot taller. So it's just barely makes it. Yeah, so now compare that to, this is the medium. So maybe compare it with the darker, so it stands out a little more. So just to see the difference. And again, with the standard tarot, it's a little bit thinner, and a little bit tall. I mean, significantly taller, but not, you know, not out of control tall. So I love this jumbo size, but I use this just for me. I don't bring it with me to go anywhere. And again, for the camera, it does make it hard to pick it up, especially if you're using more than one. But that's where this deck, the medium, is perfect, because it's just a really nice size. I love the thinness, and it's just, oh, look at those colors. I'm so happy I got this deck, and I am happy that I went a little overboard, maybe. I'm not even going to tell you that I have a backup jumbo. But, yeah, it's a fabulous deck. It really is. I'm so happy I got it. So happy that she, released a new version. And yeah, I really love it. Really, I'm still kind of sorry I don't have, I think it's the 3rd edition. So I'm kind of always, I have my eyes open for it, just in case. Which may seem silly, but, but I love that. This is just a beautiful deck. This is a very warm deck. A very, very earthy, very, I'm trying to think of the right word. I don't know. It's just got such a lovely energy. And, I mean, it reads so beautifully. Just so you can see some of the cards together. It's just wonderful. I mean, I really love this deck. I'm over the moon with it. And because I got so many versions, I don't mind sharing this one. So I will use this one in readings for other people. And it reads beautifully. It took a little bit of time to get used to it, but not much. I mean, I played with it for like a day, just to kind of get a real feel and understanding. But oh man, it's such a great deck. It's such a great deck. So yeah, I absolutely love it. Love everything about it. And it's just wonderful. I mean, it's really, really wonderful. I love this. So, That is Jonasa Jaus. And I apologize if I am mispronouncing the name. I think I'm kind of okay with this one, but we'll see. So, next, this deck is, again, La Corte de Tarocchi, by Anna Maria Donofrio. This is a Meneghello Edizioni deck. I'll tell you, I just love this. But to order this deck, it seemed kind of shady. I was a little nervous, honestly. And I'm only saying this in case you're interested, you want to order one of their decks. It's not actually shady, but it felt that way. Because on their website, you had to just sort of email them and say, yes, I'm interested in a deck. And then I think they sent me an invoice or something. But it was weird that it wasn't, you couldn't just buy it from the website. So there's my little... These are the backs. Now this, the cardstock of this, I love. It just feels so medieval and just is perfect, I think, for the cards. It's very thick, kind of cardboardy. It still shuffles really well. But I think it's perfect for it. Some people might not like it, especially if you're used to maybe a more laminated kind of deck, because there's no lamination going on here. But I think it's perfect. I think it's absolutely perfect. And I love it. I love the artwork. I don't take this one to read for people. I might use it like if I do like a Zoom reading. But I just... Maybe because there's no lamination or anything, I'm just a little extra careful, I think, with this deck. But, I mean, look how it just goes so nicely together. And, yeah, I don't mind... using this to read for people, but I don't really want them touching it. And again, I think it's just because the cardstock is, it's not brittle, but I think it's more delicate than most of my other decks. So I'm just a little more protective, and because I do love it so much. And it is limited. I don't know if they're gonna do like another printing. I don't know, but I know. Look, I love this so much. But yeah, I just want to take good care of it. That's all. This. And I really like it. Yeah. And I do riffle shuffle this. Not a lot, but I do. And my hands are just big enough that I can, so if you have smaller hands, you're probably, going to be going overhand, which you can absolutely do with this too. It's not a big deal. But yeah, so this was 1707 out of 2000. So, I guess depending on how well it sold, it may still be available. And again, maybe they would do another printing. I have no idea. But even this, it all feels very, very earthy and nice. You know, it's like coming home when there's like when it's freezing outside and everything's blanketed in snow, and you just cozy up under a blanket with like a hot chocolate. It's kind of that feel, which probably sounds super weird, but that's how it feels to me. Very comforting and nice. So now this one, I did do a video on. This is the Yochi Tarot. This was a Kickstarter, and there were a lot of people after the fact who wanted to get a hold of this deck, and they did have some that were available for sale or pre-sale, but I think that's done. But I believe they may be doing a second edition. These are the backs. Look at, this is one of my favorite decks. I know this, I think there's a lot of decks today that I'm going to say that about, but it's true. I love this so much. It reads beautifully. The cards are just so wonderful. And it's a very, very unique deck. And I really love it. I love them. So if you want to see my other video, I talk about kind of how to read with it, because there were some people talking about how they had issues with some of the cards and things like that. So I'll link that below if you're interested, and you'll see. I think I walked through all the cards. Love this. It's just a fabulous, fabulous deck, and it's fabulous quality, and it's just, man, I just really love it. Really, really love it. That's one of my all-time favorites. And it pairs wonderfully with so many other decks that maybe you wouldn't expect it to. Yeah, I really love it. So, oh, it's a great devil. Yeah, and the book, I mean, it's a tiny little book, but it's a great book because it doesn't just regurgitate the same descriptions of the cards. Instead, it talks about the beings that are in the cards, and helps, I think it can help give it a broader perspective on the card itself by understanding what the creatures are and why they were chosen. So I really, really like that book. Next, we have the Wandering Star Tarot. Now this is the Kickstarter version. I know it's come out in mass market. I don't know how this compares because I don't have the mass market. Okay. Come out. Ooh. Okay. So the box is nice. I wish that this was connected, so sometimes the cards will slide underneath, but it's nice and foam, so it's not, you know, it's not a huge deal. So this deck, when it came out, I was really back and forth on it. Look at those backs, though. Oh my God. One of my favorite backs. It's so, so beautiful. And this is a beautiful, beautiful deck. The only reason I didn't jump on it right away was because I wasn't sure that I would actually use it. Because I was kind of concerned that it might just be beautiful, if that makes sense. It's not for me anyway. It does have keywords. And the thing about this that I enjoy is that they're easy to not see. Because I'm not a huge fan of keywords. I think it's great for people who want them, but they're really easy to just not even notice. But if you want them, they're there. But I think she did a brilliant job of really incorporating them with the artwork so that they're not kind of glaring. So, I mean, some are more obvious than others, but even so, I really tend not to notice them. This is a really, really charming deck. It's, it's not one I reach for all the time. But when I get in that certain mood, and there are certain people that I've used this deck for because that was just the deck to use for them, and no other deck would have been as good, if that makes sense. So I love this. I'm so glad I got it. And even though it's available in mass market, I don't care. I love this. I love the cardstock. Did I say how much I love these backs? They are just amazing. Oh man, I love the backs. It's a beautiful deck, but it's more than that too. And I really enjoy it. And I mean, it's pretty, I don't even know if I could say it's standard imagery. It's kind of standard imagery. It's super easy to read. I did like that. I guess yeah, I mean, you're not going to find a huge amount of depth, or at least I haven't. I mean, it is exactly what you see. I mean, you might need to look a little bit, but that's not a bad thing. It's just the way it is. This is very RWS, which is fine. But it's beautiful and wonderful. And if you I would pick this up. If I didn't have it, I would definitely pick it up in the mass market. Because I think it's a great deck. Next, oh my goodness, we are almost done. That's amazing. Okay, so this is Kei Tarot Love. I love this deck so much. So I got this from Etsy. I love how she did. I love this. Is just a sweet little kind of handmade, really sweet. I mean, it's just so sweet and charming. I really love that. And somewhere in here, she also put me little amethyst, which I appreciate, and a little cushion. I mean, it's so charming and lovely. And this deck, oh, look at these backs, absolutely beautiful. I love this deck. This is one of my favorite decks. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's true. This is such a great deck for intuitive work. This is such a great deck to just feel. I love her art. I'm saying her. I'm not sure why. I think I know that it's a female, but maybe it's not. And if not, I am so sorry. So they are just incredible. So they show. I feel like California area. They have art shows and things, and unfortunately, it's the other side of the country because otherwise, I would absolutely be there. I just really, their art just speaks to me. Look at this. I mean, oh man. I just love it. And I do follow them on, I think, Instagram. So maybe that's why I'm thinking I know that it's a her, but I'm not sure now. So I love that. But it's just a great deck. I mean, this is a really great deck. This is one if you're trying to work on building up your intuition or just really trusting your intuition, because a lot of times that's really what it boils down to. You know, we're all intuitive. You just have to learn to listen and respond accordingly. I love this so much. I think this would be a great deck to use for that. I mean, it's a wonderful deck. I mean, obviously, I think it needs to appeal to you on some point, on some level. But if it does, I think this would be fabulous for that. And yeah, I really look how beautiful that is. I could just feel myself being in there. I mean, this deck absolutely transports me. And yeah, it moves me so much. And I absolutely adore it. So I did reach out to them at one point to see if I could get some prints, but I didn't get a response. So I'm guessing there are none available, which is a shame because maybe not this one, but a lot of the cards I love so much. And they're so beautiful and they're so inspiring. Maybe that's where I'm trying to go with this. But it's a wonderful, wonderful deck. And I can't say enough about it. I really love it. And so happy I have it. So happy it exists, you know? So, and it's a larger, just to show you, I guess. It's kind of like Oracle card size, so it's a little bit, I can't say, it's a little bit taller and a good bit wider. But it shuffles beautifully, whether you're riffle shuffling or, you know, I mean, it's just, the cardstock's really nice. Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful deck. And I just adore it. So now, guess what? We only have 2 left. And these are 2 of my favorites. So, this deck, when it came out, it was, this is, I imagine, the first edition. Definitely an early edition. It was called the Ghetto Tarot. So, the person who created this is not American and worked with the people in Haiti who lived in the ghetto. And part of this was they were kind of taking back that word and were using it for empowerment. so that's where she came up with the name. And I just think that's important to understand. Intent is everything, right? After this was released, some people took issue with the name. And, she, Alice is her, what's her last name? It's Alice. Well, her name's Alice. Alice, actually, she listened and responded. So now, this is actually called the Tarot of Bohemian Secrets. So, just so you're aware, I think you can still buy this version, probably because, once you have this stuff printed, it's really hard to change it. And in addition to any expense, it's not great for the environment to just toss stuff out. So I think once these are all sold out, probably the other version will be the only one available. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So now, ordinarily, I'm not a fan of photographic decks, but there are some exceptions, and this is one. I love these backs. I love him. This is such a beautiful, beautiful deck. It's so lovely. And, I've never been to Haiti. My grandmother loved it. It was her favorite place in the world. She loved the people. She loved everything about it. And traveled there a good deal. So even though I've never been there, I have, all of her souvenirs and things that she brought back, and her books, and I don't know. I feel a tie through her, if that makes sense. So beautiful. Look at his face. He's so awesome. I love this guy. And it's such a great deck. It's such a great deck, and it's beautiful, and it's a moving deck. I mean, look at this. Oh man, I really adore it. And I don't use this for other people. I just keep it for me. Although maybe I should. But, look at his face. He's so awesome. I love it. I think everybody did a fabulous job. And you can really feel the energy through the people and their expressions. I love this. It's just such a fabulous, fabulous deck. And it doesn't really get talked about that much, I don't think. And I think it should. I think it should. I think it's... I think it can be very powerful. It's a very... I don't even know how to... It's such a humanistic deck. I don't know. It's so wonderful. And I don't know. I'm with the dog. And I think this was the first deck like this, or at least the first one I heard of. And we have, Somnia Tarot, which I have and love. It definitely not like a copy or anything, but love this. But again, it's beautiful photography, and love that too. But there's something so real about the people and about the backgrounds. It's really special. I love the magician. Love him. Love death. That's what it is. There's a realness to this deck that it's just wonderful. Love his face. This guy is like the best. I love this guy. I don't know who he is, but I love him. He's just wonderful. It's just a wonderful, wonderful deck. Can't say enough about it. I feel like it was very smartly made. And love him too. And it's just wonderful. It really, really is. And it makes me really happy. I think I etched it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So the last one by this same person. And yes, it's another deck of photographs. This is the Gift of Life Tarot. Now, at first, when it came out, I was like, well, I definitely don't need that. But this time, it takes us to India. And there are some other areas, too. But India is like the birthplace of my spirit. So it's just very special to me. So I ended up getting this deck. I love that. And again, it's just a very, very beautiful and very, very real deck. Love him. And I mean this. Oh. I love her. She's so beautiful. It's just a beautiful deck. And I'll show you. I love this too. One of my favorite cards. Look at this. And these transport me so powerfully. And it's just wonderful. It really, really is. And it moves me very, very strongly. And where's show you the best card? It's the best. I mean, they're all wonderful. Oh, I love her. But my favorite, I love her too. It's just such a great card for Judgment. It's really, really smart. I love him. But still not, we're not there. Where's the one? Should be the last card. Oh, I love her. It's just beautifully, beautifully done. And these are such powerful cards. And again, where the heck? Oh, this. And this is my card. This is the best sun card ever. Oh man, look at that sweet little boy. I just want to pick him up and hug him. Little doll. And like, that's all you need is that face. You know what I mean? Like, that's the sun. That's it. So now I can't show you anything better today. So it's a good place to end. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, the next video, I have some decks coming, so I may do some unboxings, but other than that, I am going to start doing a series on my oracle decks. I don't think I have as many oracles as tarot, but turns out I have quite a few. So I will be breaking that into a series as well, just so it's not, 20 hours long. I think before I begin the true oracles, I'm going to do a video on the decks that are kind of oracle, kind of tarot, or maybe just completely their own thing, as well as my Lenormands. Have some Lenormands. So maybe kind of use that as a bridge before we get into oracle. So until next time, please like, share, and subscribe. It's a new channel. Every single one counts, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of your likes and all of your comments. I really want to hear from you. What do you like? What do you not like? What do you love? What decks are you using? What things move you? This moves me. Anyway, be good to yourself. Really good, because you deserve it. Because you're wonderful. So until next time.